Okay, back out at Rapaura, and these eucalypts are now 4 growing seasons old, more or less. We're just coming into autumn, so I'm just going to have a look at the growth, what's survived, what's doing well, what's not, for another year. So I'm filming in 60 frames per second now, so hopefully it won't be as jerky when I wave the camera around. Had virtually no rain this summer. I've had probably 4 months with no rain. I know it's dry here, but this is even drier than usual. I'll put up a screenshot of our Met Service webpage there with the rainfall for the last few months. You'll see it's been virtually nothing, so I'm actually surprised these have survived as well as they have. So let's have a look around. So what we've got here in the corner, these are Glaucescens. This one's really bushy, not the best form. It's got 2 stems, so I'm not sure I would. Pretty vigorous, but not sure I'd bother with them again for firewood. These are Glaucescens. Planted these near the fence more for their sort of ornamental value than anything. Didn't really ever expect them to be firewood, but nice to see they've got some big buds on them now, so it won't be long till they're flowering. It'll be interesting to see what colour they are. Leaves are getting a bit chewed on the edges by beetles. Otherwise, reasonably healthy. These in front of me are polyanthemos. These have done very, very poorly from a growth point of view. They're 4 years old and still they're not as tall as me, so probably 1.6 metres, maybe 1.7 metres, if that. So ornamental, really nice ornamental, but really slow. Look at that compared to the Globulus behind it. So that's actually a Globulus subspecies, that's Bicostata. And I just noticed it's actually got some buds on it. I'll see if I can zoom in. See if you can see that. There you go. So see, those buds are actually, oops, they're actually in, they can be in up to 3s. They're not singles like Globulus. And I've grown some Globulus and some of these subspecies, and these definitely doing pretty well. So time will tell which is the better subspecies for around here, but all of the Globulus and its subspecies have got excellent survival. I haven't had any die in the drought. That one's getting a good size and it's nice and straight, healthy foliage. Get it a bit brighter. Yeah, so they look like they'd be a good pick. Okay, carry on. What else have we got? That's another polyanthemos next to me, probably no taller than me, so maybe 1.8, 1.9 metres. Yeah, terrible choice if you're growing firewood. Got here some Ovata that died off last year in the drought. I've had 2 droughts in a row now, and they're both just sprouting away from the stumps where I've cut them off. Loose Tannica cypress there, where I've replaced something that's died. There's an Ovata that's a bit of a weird bushy form, probably inbred or something. Here we've got some Cordata. These have done alright. They got a bit hit by drought. That one's looking reasonably healthy now. Not a bad size, but I think there's probably better trees for firewood around here. There's another one there that's struggling. Really dry in this corner, so you can see lots of things struggling. So we got another Chordata there that's struggled after the drought last year, still alive. Ovata there, another one that's probably was on its last legs from the drought. It's lost a lot of foliage, but again, still alive, quite tall. Get a bit of rain, hopefully it'll come right. Some of these that are in the shade of these old walnut trees have done reasonably well. These bigger ones are mainly Ovata. So that one there's quite large. Probably, what would it be? 8 metres maybe. Some Nitons there, one of the few that's still alive. Hasn't done that well really. It's not much taller than me, just over 2 metres. Most of the Nitons have died off. There's a few bigger specimens through here. A few bigger Ovata there. It's probably one of the better specimens in here, in this block. Just here, that's Obliqua. So I can get a light on here. That one's reasonably large now, nice and straight and good form. You can see the difference there. There's a Polyanthumus right next to it, same age, planted at the same time. Both planted from little root trainer trees, probably 30 centimetres tall. That one would be 1.5 metres. Next to that Obliqua, which would be, probably be getting up at 8 metres. It's probably, wouldn't be far off. And be 10 centimetres across the trunk. Beautiful straight trunk. So another few years and that'll be reasonable firewood. Probably the best specimen I got growing here, unfortunately I've only got one of the species, is this is Glaucescens, and that's large too. You can see the bluish foliage. It's lost most of its juvenile foliage, there's just a little bit at the bottom there. It's held its branches quite low, is probably the only problem. That I'm going to have to come and trim these lower branches off. You can see a decent sized trunk there. That would be getting on 15-20 centimetres across at the bottom. So that's grown really well here in the dry. So we've got a couple of big Ovata there. There's a couple of Fraxinoides through here, that one and those two in front of me. They're a bit of a mixed bag. See, they got the reddish trunk. That one in front of me is a bit of a runt, probably just 2 metres. The one behind it's quite large. Not sure why they've been so variable. Might be inbred. Not sure. That one's done alright, but there's definitely things that have grown better. Obliqua and Ovata would be better choice for firewood in the dry. So Ovata there, quite vigorous, just branchy. There's a bunch of Chordata in this corner. A reasonable size, that one's quite healthy. Reasonable sized trunk. Hasn't grown as well as that Glaucescens. I don't think I'd plant them again. Also have to come and prune these lower branches off. There's a Ovata there that's done particularly well. I think these ones in the corner here, they're in a bit of a hollow. Might have retained a bit of moisture, and they might have got a bit of moisture from the irrigation on the grapes next to them. So that one's grown really well. Probably another one that's probably 6, 7, 8 metres maybe. decent sized trunk. Maybe firewood in a year or two. Right, carry on. These are Viminalis. Haven't done that well at all. Getting attacked by insects. Haven't put on much diameter. Probably only 4 centimetres across, if that. Yeah, I'm not sure whether it's just this particular seed source. These ones haven't done that well, but I've got some of them growing over here that are younger that have done a lot better. I'll show you in a minute. Another Ovata there that's doing well, looking healthy. So looking down you can see they're a mixed bag, but some of them are getting quite large now. Okay. A couple of Pinus radiata there. Get it a bit lighter. So they seem pretty hard to kill. Not as big as the best of the gums, and they're not that great for firewood. But they're definitely drought proof. And good for kindling wood, so I'll probably keep growing a few of them. What else? Sick looking Nitons there. Okay. Alright, we're into the 3-year-olds now. So these next door have had 3 growing seasons. So we'll see which species have been doing well. So of the non-eucalypts, these Capricis loose Tannica have done really well. There's a couple there that are quite a decent size. So these would probably be getting on for 3 metres, close to 3 metres. They're obviously going to need pruning if they're going to be any use for firewood or timber, so I'll have to come down with the loppers at some point. It's a bit of a nuisance, but really nice trees otherwise. There's a Pinus pinea there, pine nut tree. Is just experimenting with them. You can see they're pretty slow. That would be lucky to be a metre tall. You see the Pinus radiata behind it on the left there is a lot bigger. Okay, what else we got? That's an Obliqua there that's getting a reasonable size. It's a bit sparsely foliaged, but been attacked by insects up the top, but otherwise healthy. It's probably a good 4 metres. So again, Obliqua seems to be a good choice around here. Another Pinus pinea there. Loose Tannica's looking very healthy. Okay, what have we got here? That one's Glaucescens. So he'd be 2.5 metres. So again, quite healthy, but branchy, and definitely other species that grow faster. Okay, here I've got 2 Nitons here. These are from 2 different seed sources, on the left and the right, so you can see the difference in form. That one on the left is actually a year younger. I planted it out in its first year from seed, and you can see it's caught up to the one on the right and probably going to pass it. One on the right, that form has gone to adult foliage. The one on the left is still in the juvenile blue foliage, so quite a big difference between them. So that one there would be definitely the one to grow here. Okay. And there's a Pinus radiata that's been removed to a Christmas tree there. Saved myself $30. A nice loose Tannica there. large Pinus radiata there. So here's what I was talking about with Biminalis, this one here. Get it a bit lighter, hang up. That's quite a large tree now. That would be getting on for 5 metres. That's actually bigger than the ones that I just showed you that are 4 years old. And that one's actually only 3 years from seed. So it's less than 3 years old from seed. Because I planted it out when it's only a couple of months old from seed. And it's probably the biggest tree here amongst the slot. And that was from a different seed source. So I just wonder whether it's worth experimenting a bit more with different trees as seed source with them. Because that one's way outperformed the others I've got. So I might try some more of them and give it a chance. Okay, coming through, there's another Cameldulensis there. That's actually not a bad size and form, that one. They seem quite variable in how they grow. There's another Globulus Bicostata. That one's not bad form and size. It's gone to its adult foliage quite early. See the thick leaves, not the bluey juvenile ones. So again, they survive well and grow well. This here's something different. I think this is maculata, I think. Corymbia maculata. Something I was just trying to experiment. They supposedly are quite frost tender, but that one seems to be doing alright. Well established, it's over 2 metres. So it'll be interesting to see how they grow. That behind it is Obliqua. Probably again one of the bigger, better trees in this block of 3-year-olds. Decent size, it'd be over 4 metres. Heaps of foliage that's healthy. Probably getting on for a 7 or 8 centimetre trunk there. So again, Obliqua probably performing better than a lot of the others. Another Bicostata there. It's also doing well. Juvenile foliage on the bottom, adult foliage on top. Probably the worst eucalypt you can grow around here for firewood or anything other than ornamental purposes is Sideroxylon. This one there that's 3 years old and it's up to my knees, and behind it is that Obliqua that's the same age. So very attractive adult tree with pink flowers, but it takes forever to get there. Okay, what else have we got? Very dry through here. So you see a lot of stuff quite stunted down this end where it's really dry on a slope. But having said that, there's another Bicostata that's done really well compared to its neighbours. Good size, reasonably straight. It's going to its adult foliage. Glaucescens don't do too bad. I can't compete with the gums for growth though, the best of them. Down this end, extremely dry. See something's died there. It's a Pinus pinea. And looking through here, this way where it's dry, there's a lot of gaps. Things have died. So, coming down here, I've got a Pulchella, which hasn't grown very fast, but these are really nice, ornamental when they get bigger, so I'm glad to see it's still alive. So Clada calyx here. These would be a waste of time in Marlborough, where I'm from. It's obviously too dry or not warm enough or something. It's sitting there at knee height. Quite unusual juvenile leaves, but yeah, waste of time when you look at the difference between that and say Globulus. So here we've got that's Globulus the species, so really blue. It's kept all its juvenile foliage. It's growing reasonably well, and behind it's a Bicostata, the subspecies, which is actually a year older, that one, but it's looking really good, nice and straight, healthy foliage. So time will tell which is better around here. I think the Bicostata is going to end up being better because all of the adult ones, or the large specimens I've seen, they look far better and far healthier. But these are growing really well, obviously really drought tolerant. They just get hammered by insects. You can see up the top, it's a bit of a mess. Okay, have a look at the 2-year-olds. So into the 2-year-olds, and these have now had 2 summers of drought in a row, so I'm amazed some of them are still alive. Take a walk down the road. There's Ovata there on the left. Imagine if they get a bit of rain, they'll take off. It's loose tenica, which is something's bitten the top out of that, which is a pain. Globulus, doing alright. It's probably almost my height, probably 1.7 metres maybe. Poplar, that's this particular popular cultivar I planted, obviously doesn't like drought. A lot of them have died. Quite interesting here, you've got 2 Globulus from the same seed. That one nearest us is probably, be lucky to be a metre, and that one behind it probably close to 3 metres, so I'm not sure why the huge difference. Maybe that one's inbred, who knows. But that one there for a 2-year-old is really large, probably one of the biggest, and the one you can see further down, these will be, for 2-year-olds, this will be, in 2 drought seasons, this will be some of the best growth I've seen from Globulus. That one would be almost 3 metres tall. Loose tenica the same age, Rapaura the same age, 2 years, 2-year-old loose tenica, and then this Globulus is a huge one. I'm not sure why it's done so particularly well, but that would be going on for 3 metres, and that's in 2 drought seasons. Another Ovata there that's actually getting a bit of size on, 2 metres. So looking down here, I've got poplars, and these have done really poorly, which is interesting considering if you look in the distance, they're cuttings from those huge trees in the background there, which have obviously thrived there, but they're right next to the river, so maybe they're getting their feet down into some water. These ones have done really poorly. So I've got some more 2-year-olds here. Most of these are not particularly flash, having 2 droughts, but surprisingly most of them are still alive. More Globulus. See the insect damage. Ovata, Pinus radiata, Clada calyx, total waste of time. Don't ever plant that in dry areas like this. Ovata, that's doing alright. These are Viminalis from yet another seed source. These are doing not too bad. That one would be over 2 metres. And yet others, average, being attacked by insects. Ovata on my left there. Oh no, sorry, Obliqua. Probably getting close to 2 metres. So quite happy with that for 2 years old. Verminalis on my right, another Verminalis there, that would be 2 metres. Eucalyptus, a scraggly mess, not going to bother planting any more of them. Calyx, that's probably 15 centimetres high if it's lucky. And as we get into more of the shade of the walnut trees, the growth definitely improves. Obviously protects them from the drought a little bit. So got a Globulus there that's a bit taller. And at the very end of the row here, a bit more sheltered spot. Kind of hard to see against the walnuts, but that Verminalis there would be getting on for 3 metres. It's getting quite large. They do stay quite spindly though. They don't get much of a trunk on them. Not like Obliqua and Ovata do. Okay, what else we got? Globulus. What's what down here? I think these are Bicostata. So these are box. A lot of people trying to grow these in Marlborough for durable posts for the wine industry, which is huge here, to replace treated radiata. So not growing the fastest, but interesting to see how they get on. Nightens there looking sick. Obliqua looking nice and healthy. Definitely the healthiest eucalypt around here. Straight and good growth. Another Obliqua. Globulus there, that's reasonable size, over 2 metres. Another Bicostata, that one's quite small, probably lucky to be 1 metre. Another Globulus that's well over my height, 2 years old. Obliqua, probably 2 metres. Tanica there. And a lot drier down here, so everything's a lot smaller. And you can see the difference a bit of shelter from the walnuts makes. These are all really stunted. And a dead Ovata there, obviously couldn't handle dry. Alright, what do we got here? This is something I was experimenting with. Globulus, that's stringy bark. Still alive, which is good to see. Nice healthy looking Obliqua.